Uncle Noble. I'm president and executive director of Hip Hop Congress, and I'm also a member of the Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign.
How do you spell your name?
S-H-A-M-A-K-O. Last name, N-O-B-L-E. So before I say what I have to say, I just have a couple questions for the media because I want to get some context here. How many of the members of the press believe that police officers lie?
Only when they move their legs.
Okay, second question. How many members of the press believe that politicians lie? Okay, we have a problem. I read, viewed, looked at, saw, heard dozens of reports yesterday on our march on the 2nd, on the Peace March on the 1st, and it's amazing to see how many pictures of police officers there are and how few of the actual march. I think I actually tell you the truth, I don't think I've seen a picture of the march in any papers. Not a single one. And I can't quite figure out why. Do you guys know why? Were there no pictures taken? Did you guys just...
Look, I'm going to push back for a second because while I appreciate the fact that you're trying to paint the media in a big brush, and I certainly have the same criticism for some of my peers here, if you don't want to be treated with a big brush, you know, we did a story on it because our journalists were boxed in. And King Streets went off right next to our journalists as well. So I'd appreciate, maybe it's more effective for you to call out specific people here for their lacking of reporting.
You know, I'd like to do that. I'd like to call out specific people. But actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the media to start taking care of the stuff. I'm going to ask you, as a member of the media, to start calling out members of the media. I'm not a reporter. I do occasional writing. I do occasionally cover stories. But unfortunately, it seems like what we have is a situation where you have various professions, law enforcement included, who have chosen or who have been forced or who do not know how to, for lack of better terminology, police themselves. And I think that we are at a time and in a place where the neutrality of the media is a liability. I hate to say it that way, but the problem is that if you don't think that they lie, and they know that, checkmate. And so we have to start asking ourselves a couple of real key questions. I think that when we're asking the question, did they find the explosives, if that question is here, then this is the wrong place. The very simple approach to that is, hey, officers, can you guys show us the explosives? Has anybody seen them? Anyone? Have you guys asked them? You'd be like, hey, you know, can we just see the explosives you guys found? And by the way, just for note, as far as I know, and I'm no lawyer, urine's not a felony. I could be wrong about that. But like, seriously, let's just think about this for a second. They had explosives in urine. I mean, doesn't that sound a little desperate? You know, that's like extremes, right? Like explosives in urine. I don't know. And I'm not trying to make a joke about it, and I'm not trying to make light about it, because what we're dealing with is very serious. But that's exactly my point. We're not out here because we just want to complain. We're not out here because we just want to like create chaos or ruckus. We're out here because people are dying. People are dying. This is not a game. Like, why does everyone think this is a game? Why do these politicians think this is a game? Why does the sheriff think this is a game? Why does the mayor think this is a game? This is not a game. Quote me on that. This is as real gets. They are manipulating. They are lying. They are cheating. And unfortunately, they are using the media as their pawns to do so. And we can only go so far. We can only write a press release so well.
That's right.
We can only craft our message so clearly. At one point, there's not much more we can do. Now, I think I've said this in 2 different press conferences, and I'll say it one more time because it doesn't seem like it's sinking in. We are in a country that has the and believe me, I just want to clarify something. I'm a proud American. I love America. I've been all over this country. I love the people of America. I love the people over here. They're Americans. I know you might not like that. You might bother you. But they're just as much a part of our country as anybody else. So this is not some sort of anti-American, oh, I'm all upset kind of commentary here. But the reality of the situation is that we are in a country with a history of political repression. It's very, I mean, I'm not like making this up. You know what I mean? Like there's an entire and I'm not trying to detract from what happened today either. But if you think that what's happening today is separate from the entire history of this country, I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know what I can do with that. Because the reality of the situation is, you only have to ask yourself one simple question. Who has the power and the legacy to put $50 million on the table to put fences all around the streets of a city that the people have paid for? Period. I will say, I do very much appreciate those media figures, individuals, who have taken the time and the effort to cover the story to the best of their ability. And I don't want to paint anybody in a corner.
I appreciate it.
I don't want to paint anybody in a corner. But hey, when situations get extreme, sometimes people have extreme reactions. Just ask the police officers. There is no reason for 400 armored, tear-gassed up cops to be out here doing what they're doing. There's no reason for it. And all they're trying to do is find ways to convince you that there is. And if you guys are going to let them do so with explosives and urine that they have not been able to produce, you're not leaving the American people with many options. And that's what this is really about. This is not about the protesters. It is in some degree about the police. But let me tell you something. What's happening here in this city is happening all over America.
That's right.
All over America, police are tasing people like they have lost their minds. They are shooting people and they are not being held accountable. They are beating, they are unjustifiably incarcerating, and you know what? This isn't even new. You know what? It's not even political all the time. You guys have watched crime shows. You guys have seen oh, and it turns out a detective 10 years later found that this other detective was completely wrong. In the meantime, this person's been in jail for 10 years. Whoops. Well, you know, at one point or another, whoops has to stop being acceptable. You do not have to look that hard to find that we have a broken justice system. It is obvious. It is obvious. And if you guys would like me to provide you with documentation, websites, individuals, experts, lawyers, come see me after this press conference. And we can work on this. We can turn it into an expose. We can turn it into a special report. Whatever we need to do to make that happen, let's make that happen. But let's stop pretending like the people who are simply trying to fight so that we can survive are wrong. We are just the American people trying to take our country back. Can you report that, please? Thank you.